Welcome to Startup Autobahn.
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 Startup Autobahn
is an open innovation platform
powered by Plug and Play.
It provides an interface
between industry-leading corporations
and innovative tech companies
in the fields of
mobility, production,
enterprise,
sustainability,
and beyond.
The basis of the program
is a partnership formed between startups and our business units,
designed with the intention
to accelerate the development of
cutting-edge technologies.
Startup Autobahn
moderates a community for collaboration
with a focus on
implementable results.
How does it work?
Together,
we evaluate the potential
is a part,
move forward
with the technology
and work
to achieve
the ultimate goal.
A successful
production-ready
implementation.
Since the platform's creation
in 2016.
we have collaborated
with more than 217 startups.
More than 350 projects.
Constantly pushing
the boundaries of innovation.
In May 2016,
Daimler,
Plug and Play Tech Center,
University of Stuttgart,
and Arena 2036
founded Startup Autobahn as an open innovation platform
with global reach.
Since then,
we have teamed up
with anchor partners,
DXC Technology,
PSF, ZF, WAPCO,
Porsche, Deutsche Post DHL Group,
Webasto Group,
Rolls-Royce Power Systems,
Modison,
T-Systems,
Bosch,
and the ecosystem partners
Murata,
Lindi,
AGC,
Wieland,
Jardine Matheson,
BP,
Hyundai,
TUV Rhineland,
Eversbecher,
Forcia,
Sikizui,
and ADAC.
to bring the idea of open innovation to life.
Welcome to Startup Autobahn.
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 Welcome to Startup Autobahn. Welcome to Startup Autobahn.
And welcome to Startup Autobahn, Program 8, well, the virtual edition. My name is Dan Ram, and it's so good to be back here to be your host and MC for what is going to be an action-packed, energetic 2 days. Now, I know a lot of things have changed, like we don't have the beautiful concept cars outside, or remember that delicious food from the food trucks and the live DJ entertaining us, and the expo hall buzzing with energy, networking, pilot projects. And we had physical audiences. Remember that? Way back in the day? Physical stages, physical speakers. It's all a bit different because right now we're actually broadcasting from the University of Media here in Stuttgart. And as they say in the TV business, let's show them real quick. Cameras, lights, wow. And of course, the most important part, action. So this right here is our virtual set. This is the new home of our conversation for the next 2 days. But the most important ingredient has not changed. What is that? I'm glad you asked. I can hear you through the screen. So, the key ingredient for collaboration, the key ingredient for partnership, the key ingredient for making this Startup Autobahn a success is you. So wherever you're watching from, in whatever setup, I don't know if you've got your kids next to you or your dog or you're sitting in the kitchen or in the living room, thank you so much for being a part of this. We're going to try to make this as informative and engaging as possible within some of the limitations and the endless possibilities, some would say infinite possibilities of the virtual world. More on that theme later. But most important right now, we got to go to the founders, the initiators of this whole Startup Autobahn experience. I see one already really excited over here. So first up, we've got Sasha Karimpour, the MD for Plug and Play Germany.
Hi, Dan.
And then Philip connecting here, Head of Open Innovation at Mercedes. Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's good to have you here. The first people to join in our virtual sets. Breathe in, breathe out. It's different, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, like I was excited to see the two of you, but nobody clapped for you. But I'm sure people are really happy to see you clap for yourselves over here. We don't have a live audience. But in many ways, this conversation is probably more important now than ever before. But before we get to what's happening in 2020, let's rewind the tape. How did this all begin? I'm sure people want to know. Who wants to go first? How did this start? How did Startup Autobahn start?
Philip, do you want to go ahead?
Cool idea. I think the main ingredient of it all is that startup innovation happens everywhere on this planet. And this is true today, but also true back in 2016. And we also saw so many of our colleagues flying all over the world, flying to Beijing, to Silicon Valley, to Tel Aviv, and talking to startups. And we asked ourselves, as Mercedes-Benz, how can we take part in this startup innovation firework, but in the front place? Huh? And this was the idea of Startup Autobahn, putting us in the front place to talk to the coolest startup, to start cool and inspiring POCs and pilot projects, and then hopefully eventually implement it into our products.
Nice.
From the plug and play side, so in 2015, end of 2015, I was sitting in our headquarters in Silicon Valley in Sunnyvale. And we were approached by so many German corporations who were either partners on our platforms in Silicon Valley or who visited us in Silicon Valley. And basically, they all came to us with the same question and said, you know, what you guys have here with your open innovation platform, with your programs where corporations of the same industry look at technologies together and try to find ways to work with them. This is really fantastic. But why don't you have anything like this back home in Germany? And really, we were very open-minded to come to Germany. But in our experience, this kind of collaboration, or in order to open an innovation platform, you really need a strong founding partner. And we were so happy when we were approached by Daimler, who came to us with the idea and said, hey, we are seeing technologies all over the world, which is great, but realistically, we want to bring the startups to Stuttgart. And we liked your concept of what you're doing in Silicon Valley. Why don't we do it together? So Daimler, as one of the strongest brands worldwide for being an innovation leader in the mobility industry or automotive industry, and for Germany, the automotive industry being the economic driver, it was like a match made in heaven for us. You know, also in Silicon Valley, we had an IoT platform, now also mobility, which was a great synergy.
Nice. Now, you said 2015 was when that initial conversation happened? 2015, 2016?
Early 2016.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a vision, there was a pitch that was prepared and presented, and now we have the reality of 2020. I'm just curious, how much stayed the same? How much has changed?
I think from a visions perspective, we are still on the same page. Yeah, we wanted to not just build another accelerator, but to think it from not an investor perspective, but from a customer client perspective, meaning that we want not initially invest into startups, but find out whether there's a strategic fit between corporates like Mercedes-Benz and the startup, and then assess the technology and hopefully bring it into our products, process, and services. And I think this idea stayed pretty much the same. Yeah. But we started as 4 partners together with the University of Stuttgart and the Arena 2036, and now we are 30 partners. Nice. Daimler itself, we kicked off around 150 POCs since then, with tons of exciting startups all over the world. We have 30 corporate partners on this platform, which is said to be the biggest platform or most active platform in Europe. I think on this point of view, we never expected that kind of success, honestly, in the first place.
That's true. So both in scope, we grew a lot. Also, I think in the tech focus, we are a little bit more open-minded than we were in the beginning, where we focused mainly on case topics, or connectivity, autonomous driving, shared services, and electrification. Also production topics we were addressing. But now we are really seeing that we are working with mobility companies, and we are trying to help them in their digitization journey. And they have many other topics, which we also bring on the platform, including marketing topic, HR topics, sustainability lately, very big. And we are trying to help our partners on that end. Then in terms of services, we evolved, we learned a lot here, and we realized that corporate partners are in different stages of innovation when they work with startups. So some you have to do a little bit more hand-holding, some they have done, like Daimler, 100 plus startup collaboration. They know how to turn them inside their company. Yeah. So we are also trying to focus on each individual partner and come up with solutions which help them work with the startups with the final goal, of course, of having POCs and implementations at the end.
So final question. We're here at the Expo Day, which is only one element of the big program. Tell us a little bit about what people can expect. What is the point of Expo Day? What's the hope of the Expo Day?
Again, I let Philip go first.
I think to put it in a nutshell, yeah, Expo Day is our way to say thank you. On the one hand, definitely to the startups, to being with us here in Stuttgart, to run this 100-day sprint with us, with a lot of pressure, because at the end is exposure with the Expo Day as well. But also to the corporate partners. For example, my colleagues, for them, usually this means an on-top project, which comes in the middle of the year. But they started and they run through it, and at the end we want to make sure that also it's seen that they do a great job, that they all are also a part of this success story of the implementation at the end as well. Yeah.
Nice. Very good point. I mean, I can only add, again, that's a final milestone of the framework we have built in this program, where everybody works towards to. And you know, we put a little bit, we call it positive pressure to the startup, but also on the corporate side a little bit, to get things done by then. You know, and that's really speeding up the process and having results fast. And then we call it cultural mindset change. That you know, as this is a very fast way and agile way of working, our corporate partners, which are a lot of them legacy companies and who want to change their way of working, they love to give the message out of this cultural mindset. And this is a great way to do it, actually, internally. Then giving praise to everybody who worked on the projects. Philip, you mentioned it. The business units, the startups, and also it's a great message from the very executive level to show, hey, this is a great way what you're doing. And we need this backing from the very top side, you know, in order to get things moving. And I believe we have a little message also from the stakeholders, from our corporate partners, and I believe this is coming up next.
Let's cue that.
Welcome to our Startup Autobahn Expo Day, the first all-virtual edition.
My name is Patrick Kück.
My name is Matthias.
My name is Andreas Mündel.
I'm Lutz Mauch.
My name is Tom Rush.
I'm Oliver Barnes.
I'm Michael Fübi.
My name is Naoya Nishimoto.
My name is Dana Goldhammer.
My name is Michael Demmer.
I'm Jean-Marc Möhn.
My name is Andreas Torker.
This is Edgar.
My name is Wolfram Ressel.
I'm Peter Fröschlein.
My name is Peter Middendorf.
Sophia Nader.
Gerrit Pohl.
Paul Jarek.
In today's times, it's not enough just to rely on internal innovations.
Technology is really moving fast worldwide now. We work together with startups because they focus on certain niche technologies.
Now, more than ever, companies need to open up their innovation activities. We are here to support them in doing this fast and efficiently.
And this is exactly what the Startup Autobahn has enabled us to do for the last few years, to be able to interface with the early stage companies that are sometimes our collaborators, sometimes our vendors, as we try to deliver better solutions for our customers.
Open innovations is the key of success for the future.
The Startup Autobahn is one of a number of global platforms related to open innovation and looking at really how startups can be incorporated into your organization to provide technologies and solutions for the future.
It's a platform where we can interact with other companies, where we can interact with startups, where we can share ideas, where we can learn from the others. Actually, the learning aspect is a very important one.
It is important to team up with outside resources, as the expertise of creative, young and inspiring tech startups will drive future developments in branches and fields that are new for industry.
We need to work with companies who can actually help us to find the right partners to accelerate our innovation track.
We can learn from so many other companies who have been trying to tackle these problems, and also we can work together on solving it. And this is why we think that participating in Startup Autobahn is important for us as we reach our agenda.
I think it's a very intricate partnership. We are here to support the car makers, we're here to support our customers. They have great ideas, they guide us in certain directions, and we collaborate, we integrate those ideas by finding the right technology partners, especially in places like here where we can find some of these very exciting technologies.
Well, for us, the key contribution of Startup Autobahn is to really bring us together in a focal point with the various startups working on topics that are relevant to us in our industry.
This is giving us a lot of possibility to interact with other companies and to create new ideas, new ecosystem.
With Startup Autobahn, we are adding the thinker's spirit to the mix.
In Plug and Play and Startup Autobahn, we found a perfect partner with an unrivaled global innovation network and the proven experience to connect our corporate world to the world of so many amazing startups.
Not only that we have been able to meet more than 200 startups working in fields which are highly relevant for us, we also have been able to translate some of the engagements into products which we already brought to market successfully.
We have 3 very exciting pilots which you will see over the next 2 days.
In the last year we have achieved a lot and experienced overwhelming feedback from our business units. Several use cases could be further developed and tested together with the startups.
We don't know exactly where this innovation journey will take us in the end, but I'm quite sure that what we are creating together will be greater than what we can imagine now.
Working with Startup Autobahn was from the beginning for us also a vehicle to change the mindset in the whole company.
Our partnership with Startup Autobahn has enabled us to really engage our own employees and really create excitement about new technology developments and our own innovation capabilities.
Innovations contribute to our society, competitiveness, our ability to reflect, and our economic well-being.
Open innovation has a cultural aspect for our work, to open up, to jointly develop, to cooperate, and not to invent everything by our own.
It has been a great journey in the last 4 years, having all the corporate members come together and all of the startups that we have brought to Stuttgart from all around the world.
And now I wish all of you exciting 2 days, a lot of new ideas, a lot of possibilities to realize new ideas, and stay healthy.
An Expo Day during Corona is something special, not so easy. Nevertheless, I think Plug and Play has handled it very well, and I'm sure we'll have lots of great discussions and bright ideas.
I would wish that you all have at least one casual collision that changes your mindset, that challenges your mindset. And I think we as innovators are always looking for that. I hope everyone at the Startup Autobahn Expo Day has a blast and really gets to know new people, new technologies, new ideas.
I wish you an exciting, fascinating and a great experience. It will be for you and for me the first virtual Expo Day, and I'm sure it will be a great success.
Looking forward to meeting you. Have a great event
and see you all soon.
For all the participants in the Expo, I do wish that this is as much of a fun event that I have experienced in the physical expos. So I wish that Plug and Play actually is able to transfer a lot of this feeling, a lot of the chat, a lot of the very social aspects also to this new digital format. I'm very curious to see. Thank you very much.
I wish you a very nice Startup Autobahn Expo. I hope you meet all the crazy guys and all the crazy ideas.
Despite the challenging situation, I wish all of us another exciting Expo Day with tons of inspiring discussions and the opportunity to make new friends.
We hope this year Expo Day brings people, ideas and companies together to create new opportunities.
Open their minds and dream about the future. And I can guarantee you, Startup Autobahn, you will be able to get there.
Let's keep innovating and let's keep collaborating, and let's not refrain from doing these things given the current circumstances. And before all, stay healthy.
So we have one more special video, Philip?
Yeah, but first of all, it's so great to see that you not only have the bridge between corporates and startups, but also the bridge between our internal experts and champions and the top management. And this is also a perfect bridge for my introduction. I'm super happy that we have Markus Schäfer with us with a small statement. Markus Schäfer is my boss. He's a member of the Daimler board and Mercedes-Benz's CEO.
Nice.
Despite the still challenging times, not least because of the pandemic, there is no excuse for us not to be tackling innovation. In fact, to challenge innovation and focus on the essential is even more important than ever. Our company, like the entire automotive industry, is undergoing a fundamental transformation. On the one hand, we face major challenges. On the other hand, we have a unique opportunity to create a desirable future for us and future generations. Mercedes-Benz has a great history as a pacemaker for tech and innovation leadership. For me as a tech guy, actively shaping the mobility of tomorrow is more than just a task. It's my personal drive. Together, we have to identify social, economic, and technological trends and develop them into holistic future scenarios, and finally, into concrete products and services. I kindly invite you to take this opportunity and use the platform of Startup Autobahn to get connected to a global network of thousands of R&D colleagues from Mercedes-Benz, plus the other 30 corporate partners of the platform. How to fulfill the mission? Only as one team we can push the boundaries and together protect the planet and shape the future of mobility. I wish you, dear startups and dear colleagues, a great expo and above all, success in your projects.
Incredible. I must say, I feel very privileged to have the two of you on the stage here. But it's tough, isn't it? Because everything these guys talked about, we would have felt it in the space together, right? You would have felt the energy, the collaboration, the partnership. And I just want to put out, honestly here, this pandemic has been difficult for a lot of people. And as some people wish, we wish you happy health, we wish you safety during this time. As much as there's optimism and energy here, this is also a very really hard time for people. And so all of us here, with all due respect, as much as we can, we'll stand by you during this time. But also, as they said, we don't have a choice. We have to keep innovating, especially when we talk about things like sustainability. We have to start thinking bigger. We have to start thinking macro, which is why it's a privilege to see this association and now expanded to over 30 partners and hundreds of new ideas. And this expo will be no different, right? It might be virtual, but you're still going to hear new ideas that hopefully will shape the future. The theme is infinity, right? So it's in the logo because this is program number 8. And if you just turn the 8 sideways, you've got infinity. And to me, at least, that stands for endless creativity and collaboration, endless potential and possibilities. And digital allows for that, and virtual allows for that. So the man who kind of was the brainchild behind the whole plug-and-play movement internationally is, of course, your boss. So we heard from your boss, and we're going to go to your boss, all the way in Silicon Valley.
That's right. And maybe just a few more words from me. We are incredibly thankful and appreciative for all our partners here on the platform who, even in these hard times, kept on working on these projects. What is on the mind of everybody is safety and and efficiency also. So in order to stay sustainable. So with that, yes, you're right. You have an interview with Said coming up, but you also have a few organizational items which you wanted to address before, right?
Absolutely. So we're going to get Said here on the screen, but while that's happening on your screen right now, you should be able to see the agenda, because as always, we have a lot to offer you. So over the next 2 days, there's lots of breakout sessions, deep dives, keynotes, panels. So right now, please go to the website, please look at the screen in front of you, and make a note of where you want to join us, because it is a pretty long program and it is got a lot packed into it. So stick around for as much as you can. And with that, we're going to go to Said. All right. I promise that we're going to be going all the way to Silicon Valley for this call. And so, the CEO and co-founder of Plug and Play Tech Center, it's Said Amidi. Said, how are you?
Excellent. It's great to see you.
Amazing. I would have loved to see you in person here, but thankful for your time, for joining us.
I would have loved to be there. You guys always put on a great show, but this is the new way of life, unfortunately.
Absolutely. But hey, while we have you, let's talk about what is going on. You've got your finger on and your pulse on what is emerging, what is future, what is happening. Give us a little insight into your world. What do you think is accelerating and growing, even in a pandemic?
You know, we have been living with this present new norm for about 6 months. And what I believe it is happening is that people try to work remotely as much as possible. Some industries like e-commerce, last mile delivery, mobility has even accelerated their growth, like I would say 5 times what it was in February, March, similar to e-health, for example.
Yeah.
But some other industries like travel and hospitality are truly suffering. But from my viewpoint, I can see that, China, Japan, Singapore are already back to about 80%. And Europe is ahead of US, especially the head of California, coming back to work about 50-60%. But it has been a challenging year for everybody. And, people have gone to the most essential needs more than anything else.
Absolutely. And especially when we look at ecosystems, because you're not just in the business of investing in a startup here and a startup there, you're really transforming ecosystems, right? And specifically the collaboration between corporates and startups. And so if I can pick your brain here, what do you see as the biggest change in the attitude towards investment when it comes from corporates?
One of our biggest projects that we almost launched during this pandemic is Alliance to End Plastic Waste. And we launched that program in California almost in like February, and then in Paris, then in Singapore. And you know, I feel at the large corporations, even though there is quite a bit of health concern, but also sustainability still is in top of their mind. And what I can see with my large corporate partners is that they feel more than ever that they need to innovate. They need to implement technology faster than before, because the world is changing faster than before. And of course, like safety of the employee, safety of their customer is priority, but also they need to be more innovative in how they serve those clients.
Absolutely. And what about with your peers? So if we look at like venture funds, private equity, angel, like any stage of investment here, are investors being a little bit more protective, holding back, or are they investing quietly? What's the scene in the investment world?
You know, I would say for about 60 days, everybody was very cautious,
yes,
including myself. But then we realized that if there is good technologies, good teams, good potential investments, you have to go on. You know, in fact, during this past 3 to 4 months, one of our health company called Heal, which delivers health via telemedicine, via doctor visits at home, raised over $100 million. There is other companies of ours like Hippo, which is supplement insurance. They raised $150 million at the $1.5 billion valuation. And the last one I would mention is, you know, identity management, which is much, much more important in this, you know, digital world. Onfido, which was originally from London, then Silicon Valley, raised $100 million from TPG. So I would say early stage to seed stage, everything is, you know, happening. There is a lot of funding for proven technologies and good companies for scaling their business. There is a lot of money available. During like A and B, you have to be a little bit more cautious and, you know, be a little bit more proactive. But I would say good companies are being funded, you know, quite regularly right now.
And maybe final question here. Obviously, our audience are all friends, supporters, fans, promoters, celebrators of Plug and Play. That's why we've all gathered together. I'm sure they'll want to know from the very top, what are things looking like for you? Is this a time of growth? Are you expanding to new countries, new verticals? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, you know, again, if I use the last 6 months as an example, we opened an agricultural food vertical in Fargo, North Dakota. And we opened a sister ag and food platform in Nanjing, China. We also opened our Osaka office about 30 days ago. And we are mentioned earlier, because we are with mobility and IoT, we opened our Detroit office with Fiat, Chrysler, and a number of other partners. So I would say we have not slowed down. We opened 4 or 5 offices. We are still investing a little bit at a slower pace than last year, but investing quite a bit. And my recommendation is we need to keep positive and proactive as a leader of our industry, and the rest will follow.
So then let me ask you a cheeky last question. How does Saeed Amidi stay positive and proactive? Maybe so in the pandemic, maybe on a personal level, what have you learned, or how have you grown, or how do you stay positive when we live in a world of chaos and crisis?
Very similar to your character, I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy having events. I very much enjoy my interaction when I visit Stuttgart, Paris, or Munich. It is hard to do it through Zoom and through this digital world. But I try to stay focused when I am talking to you in Stuttgart today, and last Friday I was talking to Sao Paulo, Brazil, and try to bring some personal touch to it. If anybody says working 6 months from home, it's easy, I would tell you they are lying. It is very challenging, but you have to take breaks. I play golf a couple of times a week, which is a really good break. And I even take short vacations. I went to Lake Tahoe for a couple of days. I went to Park City, Utah for a couple of days. Nice. You need to stay quite active and exercise, socialize at a distance, safe distancing.
Yeah.
But try to make it as much normal as possible.
I love that. Well, Saeed, it's always a pleasure to hear from you, and hopefully next time we'll be able to meet in person again. But hope you and your family are staying well and healthy. And thank you so much for joining us all the way from Silicon Valley right here into our studio in Stuttgart. We'll see you later, Saeed.
Great being with you guys. Be safe. Take care.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as with every Startup Autobahn event, we have so much in store for you. So right now on the screen, you should be able to see the different options, keynotes, panels, breakout sessions, and more. So go on the website and familiarize yourself with the options that are there. Now, the All Access crew, you've also got access to your app. And on the app, you have the option for one-on-one conversations and more. Now, I think we're ready, and I think she is ready to join us on the screen. It is the president of the German Association of the Automobile Industry. It's the wonderful Hildegard Müller. Hildegard, hello, hello.
Thank you, Daniel, for the warm welcome. I'm really excited to be virtual with you here and join this event. As president of the VDA, I'm very happy to be part of this conference since our industry is undergoing a fundamental transformation. And when I look at your list of speakers, it shows that you brought together quite a illustrious crowd of people who are part of this transformation. Change and transformation are no strangers for me. After working in the banking sector and being member of the German Bundestag and Minister of State with the Chancellor, I was chairwoman of the Federal Association of Energy and Water Industry. Those were the crucial years when Germany decided to become a leading country in renewable energy. Afterwards, I worked at the crucial link between the energy sector and the automotive sector. I was responsible for the network infrastructure department and the coordination of the digitizing project at the energy company Energy. And we built charging stations for electric cars, so very key to the electric mobility.
Awesome. Now, we do have a few minutes with you, Hildegard. So if you don't mind, I've got to ask you a few questions. It's not always that the president joins us here. So if you don't mind, I'm just curious, as a woman in the management space, how important is diversity when we talk about topics like innovation, society, or in the automotive industry?
I'm very convinced that it's absolutely necessary. It's quite obvious, and studies also show that diverse teams are more efficient. And above all, the companies with diverse top management are above average profitable. The success of companies with high female quota is a particularly noticeable. Of course, it is also logic that more diverse teams develop better solutions, products and services because they represent the point of view of different people in our society and can thus respond to different customer needs. Companies and board members must themselves diversity KPIs. Board members must be credible and provide orientation. And in times of transformation and change, the topic of diversity is of course also a great importance for the automotive industry. We aim to serve the needs of a wide variety of target groups as our products, from commuters at the gates of the big cities to field workers who travel all over Germany, to young target groups in urban areas who would rather share a car than own one. And so we need to reflect all their perspectives to develop the best solutions for all the individual mobility needs. So diversity is absolutely necessary.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, the mobility space is always quickly evolving. The pace of change is huge. And now you've got a pandemic that has come in and turned things upside down and accelerated some areas and decelerated other areas. I know people are going to want to know, when we're looking at 2021, are we feeling optimistic? Are we feeling pessimistic? What are your views?
So, well, let me be honest with you. The challenges are huge. We are facing the largest transformation of the entire industry in its history toward emission-free, autonomous and connected driving. At the same time, we must overcome the corona crisis that brought about the greatest recession since World War II. To give you a few numbers, our markets will show a minus of 23% for the entire year 2020 in Germany. In Europe, minus 25%, and even in China, minus 10%. We cautiously expect it to reach a pre-crisis level in 2022. So our companies are resolutely addressing all of this. By 2024, we will invest 50 billion euros in electromobility and alternative drives. And we will invest a further 25 billion euros in digitalization. That's the highest investment in the entire German industry. We really strongly believe that our way out of the crisis is through investment and our brilliant engineering minds. But we also need support from political side. And when I say this, I'm looking apprehensively towards Brussels, from where we had last week a new plans for even more ambitious climate goals. We are absolutely committed to the joint negotiated and resolved climate goals of the climate neutral traffic in 2050, even though the present has brought us new challenges. But you can't have a climate protection strategy without an industry strategy, where climate protection is implemented. Therefore, we need a strong infrastructure, not only for charging electric vehicles, but also to produce renewable energy, for fueling hydrogen, and 5G for the steering of traffic flow and automated driving. We also need the legal framework for the mobility of the future, for automated driving, for new mobility solutions like ride sharing or pooling, and for the collection and the storing, the exchange and the use of data from vehicles and the infrastructure. And finally, a debate about the mobility of the future and what includes the whole society. Who needs which kind of mobility? Who can we bridge conflicts between goals and interests together? And how can we obtain the contribution of the automotive industry for wealth, growth and employment?
So, one final question for you, Hildegard. I think I was in Frankfurt for the last IAA, and I was in Munich when it was announced that next year around this time, right, the next IAA is coming. So it's happening in Munich, 2021. The big question is, what can people expect?
Yeah, I'm really glad that you're asking this, Daniel, because I was kind of leading up this question with what I last said. We want to give answers for those questions raised. We want to be the place where all the discussions about the future of mobility are held with everyone who wants to have a say in it. The new IAA is somehow a mirror of the transformation and changes we see in the mobility industry, and it will give an exciting glimpse for consumers and professionals where the journey is going. This concept is unique. We are making mobility tangible for everyone, combining an entertainment event on the one hand with one of the most important international cross-industry business-to-business platform worldwide on the other hand. This will bring a boost to the mobility industry and to the automotive industry. On what we call the open space, we have a great chance to bring the future of mobility right to the heart of Munich, right to the consumers. Visitors can participate and follow the dialogue of social and political debates, and they can experience new and future mobility concepts on the booth, and experience areas and on the Blue Lane, a highway which connects the open space and the city of Munich with the summit on the Munich fairgrounds. And then on the fairground, on the summit, we also see the topics of future mobility with formats like our IAA conference, expert workshops and masterclasses, and of course through our exhibitors themselves. And we will open this summit for the interested public audience during the weekend and expand the mobility experience even further. So to answer your question, wherever the new IAA in Munich is coming at the right time next year, yes, definitely. It's the right time for the automotive industry and the other mobility players to show their concepts and ideas of tomorrow's mobility. The right time, we hope post-COVID, to set the social dialogue and talk about the future of mobility, which all its perspectives, B2B and B2C, regional and international. And it's the right time to set such an ambitious and exciting international format in Munich, in the middle of Europe. So everybody is invited.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for gracing our screen here at Startup Autobahn and for sharing your positive views about the future and about IAA as well. Again, to everyone who's watching, a virtual applause for the wonderful Hildegard Müller.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And so with that, we're going to go from a quick chat to a panel conversation. Now, sustainability is a vital conversation here at Startup Autobahn, IAA, and the entire mobility space. And now we want to focus on achieving net zero. No better person to champion that conversation than the previous editor-in-chief of Wired in Germany, and now the chief editor and co-founder of IE9. It is our friend, Wolfgang Köhler.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our panel. Of course, the focus of most companies in recent months has been on the COVID-19 pandemic. But in the meantime, another challenge has become even more important, as we can see from the terrible pictures from California and the American West Coast. So yes, I'm talking about climate change. And that's why the issue of sustainability is still very high on the agenda of the corporate partners of the Startup Autobahn. Because not only the nations and governments of the world have set themselves goals of drastically reducing CO2 emissions, for example, in the Paris Climate Agreement or the European Green Deal, but many corporations and startups are also pursuing their own mission net zero. But depending on the industry, many of you might know this, that's a real challenge. And with this panel, we want to find out how some of the biggest industry players are meeting that challenge and what role collaboration between industries, but also between bigger corporations and startups can play in helping achieving these goals. And that's why the panel has the title Mission Net Zero. Will collaboration be the key to tackling future sustainability challenges? And we hope that some of you out there in the audience can learn something from this exchange of experiences from three great experts. And I'm happy to introduce them to you. And I'll keep it simple because, as you will see here, their expertise speaks for themselves. So I'll just give you their names, companies, and positions, and they'll say hi and wave into the camera so that you get to know them. And we start with Sofia Nadur from BP, where she serves as Global E-Mobility Innovation Director. Hi, Sofia.
Hello.
Great to have you here. Also with us today is Jürgen Becky from BASF. He's the Senior Vice President Performance Materials there.
Hello, everybody. Happy to be with you again.
Great. Great to have you here again with us. And last but not least, Volker Ratzmann of Deutsche Post DHL Group. He will give us some interesting insights too. And he's the Executive Vice President for Corporate Public Policy and Regulation Management.
Hello, nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
There he is. Thank you. The corporates of all three speakers are committed to reducing their emissions, and they have been working on this for years. And last but not least, there's also me. My name is Wolfgang Köhler. I'm the editor-in-chief of IE9. That's a Munich-based media startup with an online magazine, the community platform, and events focusing on future and technology. But let's get started because we don't have that much time. My first question goes to Jürgen Becky. Mr. Becky, BASF is the world's largest chemical producer, and the company has published an annual report on the company's carbon footprint since 2008. And we see that the footprint has been decreasing continuously over the years, but it still amounts to many million metric tons of CO2. Maybe you can give us some insights. What measures have been taken to achieve this reduction so far? And how does BASF intend to even accelerate the progress?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, BASF has already halved its total global greenhouse gas emissions from 1990 to today, while at the same time doubling the production volume. So climate protection is really a key task and an essential part also of our global strategy. So we support the objective of the Paris Agreement to limit global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius. The downside of this great achievement is that we have already optimized our plans, and every additional improvement will be increasingly costly and also elaborate. So secondly, we want to once again grow considerably by 2030. This means that the production volume will continue to increase. Indeed, if we want to keep our greenhouse gas emissions at a constant level, we have to again significantly reduce the emissions per metric ton of our sales products. And that is not an easy thing to do. So in total, I see really 3 approaches we can apply to achieve our 2030 objective. 1, operational excellence. We have to become even more energy efficient when it comes to our plants and processes. Here, we will invest significantly more money in the coming years. And secondly, we will increase the share of electricity from renewable resources in the overall amount of electricity that we purchase. There is tremendous potential here, as chemistry needs energy, and the biggest sources of CO2 for the chemical industry are still fossil fuels. And last but not least, our 3rd pillar is an ambitious research and development program. Here we examine how we can take climate protection to the next level after 2030, when all other options have been exhausted. We will need decisive technology advancement, real game changers to further reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
Great, thank you. You already touched the issue of fossil fuels and said that your company is going to reduce the amount needed. And that brings us to Sophia Nadur. As a multinational oil and gas producer, BP is historically one of the 10 companies with the largest carbon footprint of all. And indeed, many critics of your industry, and not only climate activists, are demanding that the economy and also your current customers become as independent as possible from fossil fuels. But still, BP has also set itself the goal of becoming climate neutral. And for me, honestly, that almost sounds as if the company has to completely reinvent itself. Sophia Nadur, could you give us 3 examples of what BP is doing to achieve this goal, and maybe how other companies could learn from it?
Thank you. Yeah, it's we used to be called International Oil and Gas Company. We've just announced that we are aiming to become an integrated energy company. We have committed publicly that we will be net zero on or before 2050 through absolute reductions of CO2. We are aiming for 415 million tons of emissions to be removed from our operations, both upstream, and as well, we are aiming for to reduce the carbon intensity of our products that we sell as well by 50% by 2050 or sooner. What does that mean in reality, though? We are increasing the proportion of our investment into non-oil and gas activities. So for instance, we just announced a $1.1 billion partnership agreement with Equinor, a global leader in wind, offshore wind facilities, which will enable us to increase the renewable share in the US, which will help as well in our integrated energy and charging products that we plan to develop for this market. You probably heard our CEO last week said that a ban on petrol and diesel car sales can be brought in by 2030. That's quite a big announcement for a CEO of an oil and gas company to say, but that's our commitment. But to do that, we are also helping consumers and fleets transition to electric vehicles. We're investing in energy charging infrastructure in major markets in the UK, in Europe, in China, via our gas stations. I mean, car owners live within 20 minutes of a gas station in the UK or Germany. So it makes sense to be able to switch some of the fuel available there to also include charging. And we're doing that at a rapid rate, increasing electrification charging infrastructure at home, but also we're doing something else, which is particularly where certain types of businesses are electrifying fastest. So for instance, the ride hail, the taxi market in China, we have partnered with Didi, and we are developing and rolling out hundreds and hundreds of charging hubs there to ensure that people can move around using cleaner energy and in a cleaner way. And we're doing the same in Europe as well. Uber has just made an announcement that we will be their partner to roll out electric charging hubs in the UK and elsewhere, and that will also help us deliver on our commitments on reducing our carbon emissions to become net zero by 2050 or sooner. Of course, that depends on external collaborations, and we are always on the search for partnerships which can help drive progress, provide the skills, tech, and capabilities we don't have, and also help shape the future together, because we can't do this alone. We know that, and to be able to lift the people out of poverty, but also provide clean energy, that's something we have to do together. And so we absolutely welcome partnerships as well.
So you already mentioned how important partnerships, for example, with mobility providers, but also with clean energy companies are for BP. Volker Ratzmann, for DPDHL, partnerships and collaboration is also very important. But also DPDHL plays an important role, because if the whole economy is going to become carbon neutral, a logistics provider like DPDHL has to provide sustainable logistics for all their customers, because they want to have a net zero footprint. At the same time, your carbon footprint depends on your suppliers. So manufacturers of vehicles, of planes, of ships, or even fuel and energy producers like BP. How does your company work with partners on both ends of your value chain to meet these challenges?
Yeah, you're totally right. Collaboration is really a key for our business becoming and tackling the goal of becoming net zero by 2050. And we are somehow in a sandwich position. As you described, we have on the one hand, we have to fulfill our customers' expectations on sustainability, which is increasing at the moment. So they ask more and more for greener solutions. And on the other hand, we stuck to the innovation of our suppliers. We have to buy transport services from shippings, subcontractor trucking. We have to buy belly air freight and so on, and all these emissions are counting for us. So our sustainability goal is really designed to collaborate if we really want to achieve it. And our zero logistics related emissions include, and that's I think what you pointed out, as well on scope 1 and 2, so on our own emissions in providing our services and the emissions of suppliers and service providers. What are we doing? We are working very closely with companies who are inventing new technologies, and we are very inside their processes, telling them what we need and what our customers need. So there is a very close connection. Different scope of customers, and they really want tailor-made solutions for their logistics problems. So we work together with them in trying to find out what helps them becoming more sustainable. For example, in last mile delivery solutions, everybody knows our project with Street Scooter, where we have tried to design solutions for our customers, and we had the situation that nobody wants to build the electric vehicles we need to fulfill the demands of our customers. So we built them by our own, and we try to set off a sign to the market, and I think this worked very well. But I think collaboration is not only with the customer side or the procurement side, it's also with the political side. Because at the moment, I think politics really notice that the demands for green solutions, for greener solutions are rising. We all know there is lots of money on the table at the moment coming out of the Corona pandemic, and they are really asking for projects, lighthouse projects, where they can show how we can achieve the goals I think we are trying to follow all together. And therefore, we need to collaborate with all stakeholders in our industries, and we need to collaborate with politics very close.
All right. So it's not only companies alone, but politics have to play their role as well. Now for a quick closing round, because the panel is very short. Each of you, please give us one advice or one wish about how collaboration could lead to reaching the goal of net zero emissions in the coming years. What's the most important thing that we need now, or what's your wish right now? Just one short answer, each of you. And we start with BASF.
I mean, as you can see it in the examples now from BP and also in our pilot, it's important to speak to each other, to understand really the challenges and the problems of the other parties, and to jointly develop solutions. I mean, here on this panel, you have three companies that do not seem extremely closely connected at first sight, but this joint challenge, this mission brings us together much closer and with a common goal. And no single company can really tackle this challenge on its own. So we are seeing that the approach really works. For example, within our engagement in the Alliance to End Plastic Waste. Here we have really nearly 50 major global companies, and we are spending more than 1.5 billion over the next 5 years. And here we develop, we deploy and bring to scale solutions that will minimize and manage plastic waste and promote post-use solutions.
So talk to each other and start projects even across industries. Sophia, maybe you have a short advice for us too.
I mean, the problem can't be solved by one company or even one industry. It needs to be a very circular, a very collaborative approach. Actually, Startup Autobahn and programs like this is the perfect platform for us to start having very open, transparent discussions. You've seen BP made some very strong commitments in the last few weeks, and we're open for collaboration. And let's do this, and let's start doing this right away.
Great. And Volker Ratzmann, maybe some wish directed to our politicians who might be in the audience.
Let's get started. I think we have to show that there are projects and that we are really able to solve the problems and do the right steps in the right directions, not write only headlines on papers and not figures for goals we want to achieve, but let's show that we are able to make this becoming reality, and let's really work together and not drown in a comprehensive market and trying to kick the other aside. It's our planet, and we have to solve this problem together.
Great, great last words. So talk to each other, cooperate with each other, and to all the startups out there who are listening, there are 3 major companies who want to reduce their emissions. So if you have solutions for them, make sure to get in touch with them. Thank you for these insights, Sophia Nadur, Jürgen Becky, and Volker Ratzmann. Thank you for the attention out there, and have fun at the Expo.
We'll have.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wolfgang, thank you so much for sharing that and for having this amazing panel on net zero. Now, while we love having decision makers and leaders of the industry here on stage and on screen, ultimately, what Startup Autobahn is known for, recognized for globally, is the cutting edge innovation that we bring to you. And so, like always, like we did last time and the years before, we have over 30 incredible ideas that we're going to share with you today and tomorrow. But instead of me just rattling through all the amazing different verticals they're working on, we got them to put a little video together in the different industries that they are impacting. So with that, let's roll the tape. Take it away.
If we had to describe ourselves in 3 words, we'd say virtual,
digital identity,
machine manufacturing,
to artificial intelligence,
smart surfaces,
accelerated dialogue,
trust,
sustainability,
measurable safety,
blockchain,
industrial IoT,
stretchable electronics,
computer,
supply chain, transparency,
low code,
sensing,
air quality intelligence,
audio-visual,
cloud edge identity solutions,
waste management,
touch and force sensing,
verification and validation,
graphene,
emotions.
We're based in Cologne,
Tel Aviv, Israel,
Tampere, Finland,
Berlin,
Geelong, Australia,
Vorarlberg, Austria,
Berlin,
Salo in Finland,
Stuttgart, Germany.
So tomorrow we're going to deep dive into showcasing for you all of the different amazing innovations. But right now, we just thought we'll do a little bit of a tease, if that's okay. So we've picked 4 pilot projects, and I'm just going to let you know that one of them is winning a special innovation award. I'll tell you more about that after that. But right now, just 4 out of the 30, and again, the rest of them will be out tomorrow. So make sure you go through the agenda and find out when they're sharing their ideas. But for now, let's roll the first one.
Back in 2011, when Siri was first introduced to the public, hardly anyone would have predicted the steep rise of voice-enabled tech that was to come. Today, voice-enabled tech is an integral part of our everyday life. The average smartphone now features voice assistants, and it has been predicted that by the end of this year, more than half of all consumer searches online will be voice-based. Voice recognition software can be tricky, though.
Sorry, I didn't quite get that.
Speedy talking, noise, dialects, similar-sounding words, and many other aspects can interfere with speech recognition technology, resulting in misunderstandings and wrongly executed voice commands. However, as voice control is continuing to rise in popularity and is becoming a must-have in modern cars, there's got to be a better way. One of the biggest threats to voice recognition is noise. People talking in the background, construction, music playing, kids screaming, and wind can all prevent the voice system from working properly. German automaker Porsche has been equipping its exclusive cars with in-car voice control for years. While operating a system that is on par with the industry standards, the Zuffenhauseners were looking to take in-car voice control to a new level, as Marius Schach, electrical engineer in Porsche's pre-development unit, explains.
For now, we wanted to validate if a system which uses both video and audio as an input can actually be better than our existing systems that we have as an industry standard.
Their idea was to create a system that doesn't require any noise-reducing actions, but one that works reliably despite the noise.
So you simply can trust the voice control that it works.
In trying to develop such a system, they found a strong partner in the Tel Aviv-based startup Hi Auto. Together with his co-founders Eyal and Zohar, CEO Roy Baharav developed an automotive-grade speech recognition system.
Hi Auto specializes in making speech recognition platforms work well in the most noisy environments by using both a camera and a microphone in order to eliminate the most challenging noises, such as interfering speakers.
Today's speech recognition technologies often require ideal sound environments in order to function properly.
Drive to 110 Fifth Avenue. But today you have to turn off the music. When you actually give a command, the music stops. And when you're driving a convertible, typically the roof has to be closed so that you can use the speech recognition platform. And then sometimes you have to ask people to be quiet so that you can control the car. Navigate to the nearest gas station.
I'm on my way, so I'll be there in 20 minutes.
Increase the temperature by 2 degrees.
So then, yeah, it will take me half an hour.
Navigate to the nearest gas station. Increase the temperature by 2 degrees. Now the car can understand what each of them said without being affected by the noise, and also understand the context of who said what.
By integrating HiAuto's technology into Porsche's speech recognition system, Porsche offers drivers the ability to speak to the car even if music is on, the window is down, or people are talking so that it
doesn't matter if your kids on the back seats talk while you're doing a voice control. Doesn't matter if there's music in the background. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in a convertible driving pretty fast on the Autobahn.
This reduces the distractions for the driver and makes the drive much safer. According to Hadar Pod, director at Porsche Digital Tel Aviv, who supported the project on the ground in Israel, the collaboration with HiAuto has been a very pleasant one.
We are very happy to work with and to collaborate with HiAuto, and we see high potential of continuing this journey together.
HiAuto's technology not only increases the safety of driving, but also opens up new opportunities for voice control in the automotive sector.
The future is that people would be able to do much more things in the car. You know, they're spending time in the car, they would like to do things, and in order to do actions that are complex, the speech recognition platform has to be very reliable.
Finding yourself in a situation without any cell reception is always unpleasant and discomforting. The reason for it can differ. Most of the time an insufficient coverage is the reason, but also thick concrete or steel walls can limit reception. Generally, this is not a big issue. The reception is back once the phone is moved to an area without any obstructions. Inside industrial buildings, this is not always possible due to their style of construction. In order to transmit data, a lot of wires need to be installed. A solution which is expensive, prone to error, and requires extensive amounts of maintenance. But with this solution, the maintenance engineering team of the Daimler Vans production facility in Vitoria, Spain was not satisfied. One of the leads of this collaboration is Juanjo Vitoria. He works as a maintenance engineer in the facility management team in Vitoria. The factory is Daimler's second largest van plant in the world and the global lead plant for the production of mid-size vans.
My name is Juanjo Vitoria. I work as a maintenance engineer, mechanic engineer. We want to reduce the cost in installation and maintenance. It's very important for us. One part of our job is reduce the cost and the energy and doing the best way with less cost.
It is well known that industrial production facilities consume large amounts of energy. These resources are tracked using different types of meters. Several hundred of these devices are located within the buildings.
We have 1,300 meters inside the building and they record energy consumed. Then each one of them are wired to our control system, and this is very expensive for us.
To get rid of the kilometers of wires that connect each meter to the central control system, the team around Juanjo was looking for a wireless IoT solution that was hands-on, easy to install, and low in maintenance. When looking for a way to implement this, they came across the startup Next Machina.
After several interviews with another IoT service companies, we decided on Next Machina First, by proximity, they are from Bilbao, it's very close to here in Vitoria. And the second one was because their product was tailored to our needs.
Next Machina is a startup from northern Spain that is specialized in helping companies to achieve the potential of IoT in their sector. Silvia Montoya is a technical lead of the startup.
Mi nombre es Silvia Montoya y soy responsable técnico de Next Machina. Next Machina es Internet de las Cosas, IoT, y tecnologías inalámbricas. Nos dedicamos a dar servicios relacionados con la tecnología inalámbrica, ¿no? Tenemos lo que se llama un llave en mano, ¿no? Desde el despliegue de redes, si es necesario, la instalación de sensores, hasta la recolección de datos y la monitorización de los mismos. El problema de Daimler era la instalación y mantenimiento de contadores de fluidos, ¿no? Esta instalación suele ser compleja y cara por el cableado, por las dimensiones de la planta.
Next Machina tackled the request in 3 phases, beginning with installing a factory-wide wireless network based on LoRaWAN technology. LoRa stands for long range, and WAN means wide area network. It is a technology specifically designed for IoT that allows devices to communicate with internet-connected applications up to 1 kilometer apart inside of the buildings. It is a standardized and inexpensive technology that's already established in the industry. After setting up the necessary network environment, Next Machina installed the sensors that monitor the meters.
Nosotros instalamos una red de tipo LoRa y comprobamos que la cobertura de la planta de la fábrica era idónea. La segunda parte fue instalar los sensores que iban a monitorizar esos contadores, ¿no? Porque ellos necesitan datos. Luego dimos altas los servidores que recogen esos datos y que luego se muestran a través de la plataforma web y de una aplicación móvil, ¿no? Esa es, digamos, las 3 fases del proyecto.
Introducing the desktop and mobile dashboard application marked the last step in this proof of concept, which has been completed this summer. As a result, the facility management team noticed that with the help of Next Machina and the LoRaWAN technology, they were able to drop the maintenance costs significantly.
We hope with this project to reduce about 50% of the cost in installation and maintenance. The next step will be make it as a factory standard. We want to implement in all the factories in the world. The Mercedes, yeah.
In the fast-paced world we are living in, embracing an attitude of lifelong learning has become a must for companies and their employees. Videos provide one potent channel that can be used to address this challenge, as an average viewer retains 95% of information if it's conveyed through video, but only 10% if it appears in written form. However, despite the effectiveness of education through video, various factors keep companies from employing it more frequently. Key pain points include cost and time-intensive video planning and production, language barriers, and content becoming outdated. In collaboration with an innovative startup, TÜV Rheinland set out to resolve many of these issues to make video a more accessible and versatile medium. In the pilot project between TÜV Rheinland and Synthesia, it is all about learning content. TÜV Rheinland was looking for a solution that helps translating training content in a fast and flexible way. The project was driven by Philip.
My name is Philip Myers and I'm the Head of Innovation for TÜV Rheinland Academy and Life Care.
Academy and Life Care, one of TÜV Rheinland's major business streams, helps organizations keep their staff motivated, qualified, healthy, and safe at work.
The Academy and Life Care business stream bundles TÜV Rheinland's expertise and services relating to people at their workplace and in their professional environment.
One of the service offerings are digital trainings, knowledge transfer via video accessible on a global learning platform for companies and organizations in all kinds of industries. The biggest hurdle? How to share the same content in different languages.
As part of one of our digital trainings, we interviewed our IT security expert from Germany. We recorded the video in German and English, but for all other languages, we had to use subtitles.
So this basically means a video in German or English had to be translated or subtitled, which entailed either high production costs or impersonal viewer experience. In order to avoid traditional dubbing methods, a new solution had to be found, and this is where Synthesia comes in.
I'm Nadia from Synthesia, and I am the VP of Business Development. We're a London-based startup developing AI technology for automated video generation.
Once the video is recorded in English, Synthesia's face mapping technology is applied in order to generate training data teaching the algorithm how to move the actor's face. The 3D digital model of the actor can be now reanimated, which allows for seamlessly changing expressions and dialogue.
So we're doing digital humans.
Synthesia also just launched the world's first web-based text-to-video platform. So you log in, pick a presenter, type in your script, select a custom background, and click on Create. The result is a presenter speaking to the camera in 38 languages.
It's an entirely new form of AI video generation.
Generally speaking, Synthesia helps to create videos that engage and inspire global workforces, and that can easily be updated, personalized, and translated.
There is a need for it to be global, and that means multiple languages.
First of all, a video had to be created, in this case in German.
Nutzer berufliche Daten und private Daten auf mobilen Geräten miteinander vermischen.
Together with Synthesia, Friendland was able to transform existing e-learning content into personalized experiences.
With Synthesia's solution, we gave our expert a voice in the native language of the learner.
By applying Synthesia's technology, the original video could easily be translated into another language, Spanish, for example.
Datos profesionales y privados en dispositivos móviles. En muchos casos, hay una falta de conciencia del problema y de las consecuencias que puede tener.
Synthesia offers a very innovative solution and has a dedicated and professional project team with a fast POC development.
This allows creating unique and personalized learning content in a fast time to market.
The ability to give our experts a voice in every language gives us the possibility to go the next step in creating an even more personal training experience.
我们将从数据中更好地理解客户的需求，并以此为基准制定新的业务模式。我们如今通过数据云收集数据，利用大数据分析来分析数据。
The outcome of the project can be simply summarized.
One video in any language.
Really everyone can speak Chinese.
I hope you enjoyed that little sneak peek. Now again, tomorrow we'll reveal all 30 ideas. But I did say we're making a little bit of Startup Autobahn history, because as you can see, we've got 4 awards because we have 4 partners coming together on a special blockchain-based solution on sustainability. So the 4 of them who are receiving this Global Innovation Award is Circular Tree, BASF, Matherson, and Porsche. And we put them all together, and we have Tamara, I believe, who is hopefully going to show up on the screen here. So Tamara, can you hear me? There we go. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Dan. And also from the Plug and Play side, we'd like to warmly congratulate all the award winners. We were so pleased seeing our corporate partners, in this case, BASF, Matherson, and Porsche, which are actually representing a simple automotive value chain, teaming up with our program startup Circular Tree. Currently, they're in the pilot phase of creating and evaluating a blockchain-based CO2 tracking solution with the objective of building more sustainable cars in the future. Especially, we were really impressed by their outstanding collaboration. And today, they're all here represented, wherefore I'd like to give the floor to them before showcasing the video with more insights into their exciting project. Firstly, I'm happy to introduce you to Igorim from Porsche. Igorim, what is your solution actually enabling, and why was it so important for you to work on that project?
Hello, everyone. Sustainability is now the key driver of innovation and corporate success. We from Porsche are honored to have won this Global Innovation Award for the pursuit of digital sustainability solutions. I want to thank everyone for the fruitful discussions, valuable insights, and good collaboration. We can only achieve our sustainability goals through dedication, innovative mindset, and working together. Thank you.
Totally agree with you, Agrim. Thank you. Also pleased to welcome Ian from Motherson. Ian, how did you experience the whole collaboration with the other teams?
Oh, hello, Tamara. Well, when we started this project, the idea was that we would be having some face-to-face workshops at various sites around Europe so we could see the process from start to end. But unfortunately, of course, COVID just got in the way of that and stopped it. So everything had to be online and by video calls and by email. But I have to say that very, very quickly, everyone got into the swing of that. The collaboration was absolutely fantastic. We all got on really well together. There was an openness and a willingness to share data and information. It went really well. So I say thank you to Andreas and the team. Thank you to Igrim and her team. Thank you to Gunther and the team at Circular Tree. It was a great experience.
Thank you, Ian. Amazing words. And now pleased to introduce you to Andreas from BSF. Andreas, do you actually agree with Ian? And is there something special you'd like to highlight?
Yes, I fully agree. So it's really great that we got the collaboration award for our project. So we had a very dedicated project team with diverse backgrounds, and we managed to bring together a lot of expertise around sustainability, materials, and processes from all the involved companies. As Ian said, despite the fact that unfortunately we could never meet in person, it was really fun working together. Special thanks to Gunther, who managed to coordinate all our virtual workshop sessions.
Thank you. With that wonderful word said, I would also like to highlight the startup our three partners were working with so closely, Circular Tree. Happy to have Gunther with us today, to whom I'd like to hand over for some final words.
Yes, thank you, Tamara. Thank you very much for awarding us. We're really thrilled, and thank you for Startup Autobahn and Plug and Play to provide us the opportunity to get several different companies in one supply chain together. Our project really wouldn't have been possible without that. And really, once again, I want to thank you, the corporate partners, and especially the team who was really working very passionate on this. And yeah, we will definitely keep on working on this great solution.
Thank you all for your kind words, and especially also your dedication. And with that all said, we're excited to give you some more exclusive insight into this winning project. So team, please start the video.
The supply chain of a typical manufacturing company creates more than 80% of the total greenhouse gas emissions resulting from production. Although manufacturers are well aware of this, managing carbon emissions of upstream suppliers is difficult due to limited information on the complex underlying material flows. As you can only manage what you can measure, tackling the emissions challenge adequately will require calculating and minimizing the carbon footprint of products throughout the supply chains of manufacturers. With its commitment to producing cars with a low carbon footprint, Porsche and the whole Volkswagen Group set out to do just that by leveraging breakthrough technologies and strong partnerships along its value chain.
Decarbonization is one of our main sustainability goals at Porsche and the whole VW Group. In order to systematically reduce our CO2 emissions, we are focusing on the whole value chain.
This is Igrim from Porsche, together with her colleague Michael, Ian from Motherson Innovations team, and Andreas, polymer chemist at BASF. They realized a joint project in order to get closer to everyone's goal, the reduction of CO2 emissions.
Our goal is a transparent transmission of real CO2 data along the supplier chain.
Facing the challenge that our cars are assembled from thousands of components, each having a different manufacturing history, process, location, raw materials, we are looking for tools which enable us to exchange data in a more standardized and efficient way.
In order to create the whole picture, the involvement of every player in a car's value chain is inevitable. This means complexity and a large amount of data which has to be processed.
To fulfill our customers' needs for transparency, we need a scalable solution on how to transfer a big amount of information along the value chain.
Not only does the material supplier have to be included, but also the Tier 1, who manufactures the raw material into an actual car part.
Motherson's role in this is that of the converter. We take the base polymer from BASF. We then use injection molding processes, finishing processes, painting, sub-assembly, and then final overall unit assembly before we convey that part to the Porsche facility where they assemble it into the final car.
To calculate the carbon footprint of a single car part, multiple variables have to be taken into account.
The product carbon footprint is actually influenced by the design, by the choice of material, by the processing, and by the logistics. So you have to look at the entire length of the supply chain.
From the raw material to the finished product, the value chain of car parts is complex, involves many parties, and can often lack transparency.
All data is requested by email. Everybody is using customized Excel files to do the calculation and then transmits the results to the next partner in the value chain by email.
Unstructured processes and solutions that are not scalable are the biggest hurdle in calculating product carbon footprint today. And this is where Circular Tree comes in.
My name is Gunther Walden. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Circular Tree. At Circular Tree, we want to make it simpler and safer for organizations to tackle their responsibilities along the supply chain.
In order to see the real carbon footprint of parts and materials, a scalable and secure solution is needed. Optimally, it should include all participants along the value chain and should be able to connect to enterprise resource planning, or ERP, systems. Circular Tree's solution, Carbon Block. It enables companies to measure and manage the upstream carbon footprints of parts using smart contracts.
We use blockchain technology to ensure that legitimate information can be shared, while critical information and intellectual property can be maintained confidential.
And the process for their customers is pretty straightforward. Let's suppose you want to track and share the exact carbon footprint of a Porsche 911 bumper. The first step is to retrieve all relevant information about the bumper from the respective suppliers. Suppliers transmit this information by using a template that Circular Tree provides. But as not all of this information is intended to be shared, non-confidential product carbon footprint information is automatically generated and exported by the Carbon Block technology. The shareable PDF export of the data can then be added and recorded securely in the blockchain. In case of an audit, an automatically generated hash enables it to search and identify the original source document that was used for creating the carbon footprint information. The product carbon footprint of the Porsche 911 bumper can now be downloaded and shared. Circular Tree's technology has actually already been used. Carbon Block calculated the product carbon footprint for a car module from an existing Porsche produced by Motherson.
The solution really comes into two parts. The first is to have a consistent methodology about how you approach calculating your carbon footprint. What's included, what isn't, how you go about assessing the impact. Once you've done that, you then need to actually also have a common approach to how you communicate that information up and down the supply chain, which gives each party involved in that the trust and confidence that it's correct.
So in 3 months, a proof of concepts for a blockchain-based solution was built by Circular Tree, representing the value chain for an automotive part.
Circular Tree's technology then calculated the product carbon footprint as part of the proof of concept.
Based on these calculations, we are able to identify the CO2 hotspots in the supply chain and validate our mostly generic data together with our suppliers.
A CO2 reduction on our vehicle components can only work with our suppliers.
The challenge: finding the right balance between transparency and maintaining competitive advantages while protecting intellectual property. Circular Tree's technology offers every player in the value chain the opportunity to make use of one common tool, which can be integrated in the existing IT landscape and be scaled easily.
So we have now a better understanding what the end customer is needing, and we are also able to connect digitally with the end customers of parts made of our materials.
Although blockchain and smart contracts are only one possible solution to automatically exchange data and calculate product carbon footprints, the reasons to consider it as a potential solution can be summarized simply.
Blockchain increases trust in the system since data is immutable and every company maintains ownership about their critical information.
The project shows that CO2 reduction is possible if everybody is pulling in the same direction. Collaboration is key. Martina, responsible for sustainability strategy at iPoint Group, sums it up perfectly.
Listen to each other, to learn what are the important issues of every partner, and then find a consensus, get to a standardized approach on how to share data, and then just do it.
The more partners are involved, the more data can be taken into account and a more detailed calculation can be realized. Andreas has a clear vision.
We would like to share and discuss the digital CO2 tracking solution with the automotive ecosystem, and we are looking forward to validate the tool with more material suppliers, tiers, and OEMs.
What's really important at the end of the day is to get a true picture of the environmental impact of what you're doing.
And that can build trust all the way through a supply chain and ultimately to the end user, that the figures that they're looking at are a true reflection of reality.
What a well-deserved award, I would say. And I'm looking forward to so many amazing other pilot projects in the next days. So who am I? You might wonder. I'm Adrian, and I'm part of the corporate team here at Startup Autobahn, and I do have the absolute privilege to introduce you to the new corporate partners of our ecosystem. And I'm especially happy to do this today because despite the circumstances of the last 6 months, our community grew by 4 new amazing corporate partners. And I would say, without further ado, we start with the first one, ADAC, and I would like Winfried Eggebrecht on stage with me. Winfried.
Hi, Adrian.
It's awesome to have you.
Thank you.
So we have already been working for the last, let's say, 3 months together, so I got to know you a little bit, but I'm very sure that the viewers would like to know who you actually are.
Yeah, my name is Winfried Eggebrecht. I work at ADAC in Munich in the Department of Digital Innovation Management. ADAC is the largest automobile club in Europe with a wide range of services around personal mobility for our 21 million members. We offer, of course, as our core service, roadside assistance, plus then a lot of insurance products, financial services, tourist and travel information, and of course also interesting digital services like apps, web services, and all this.
Awesome, awesome. And now I would like to know, why did you, or ADAC in general, decide to join the Startup Autobahn platform?
Yeah, of course, we are super excited to be a new partner of Startup Autobahn. We try to find and try out new digital services, cutting-edge products, all this area with the aim of to test and find new services, new cutting-edge services, to provide better services, to be more efficient and thus overall better than today.
That's awesome to hear. I'm very much looking forward to keep collaborating with you, and thank you for being here today. It's a pleasure working with you, and we see each other soon again, I hope.
Yeah, thank you, Adrian. Bye.
Bye. So, our next partner is Sikizui, and now I would like Maya Vayakama on stage. Hi Maya, nice to have you here.
Hi Adrian, nice to see you.
It's really great that you're here in persona today as well.
Yeah, I'm really happy as well, thank you.
So, Maya, can you tell a little bit about yourself for our viewers, please?
Yes, I'm Maya Wakayama. I'm working at Sikizui Eslik BV in the marketing department as business development manager, and we're located in the Roermond. And actually, we're Sikizui Eslik. We're a PVB interlayer manufacturer for laminated glass.
That's awesome. So, what was your central motivation to join our ecosystem?
Yes, several years ago, we set a very important factor for developing products, and it was to make an open innovation internally as well. So, and actually last year already, our US colleagues at Sikizui start already the partnership with your plug-and-play colleagues in Silicon Valley. And over the year, we had really great experience. So we continue this cooperation or the partnership in Europe as well. So that's why we're here at Sikizui to announce partnership here in Stuttgart.
That's awesome. We are very glad that you make the decision. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to our first deal flow together. And thank you again so much for you to being here.
Yes, me as well. Thank you very much.
You take care,
Bye.
Maya. So, we do actually have 2 new partners that joined us quite recently. And the first one, I would like to introduce you all to Plastic Omnium. And as they are not in persona here in Stuttgart today, I have the honor to give a bit of an intro. So Plastic Omnium is a huge French automotive supplier, mainly in the field of manufacturing plastics, and they're really looking forward to develop POCs with our internationally scouted startups, and later you will also see a personal clip by them. So as the last, but of course not least startup, corporate partner, I would like to announce Zenzik. Zenzik is actually a joint company with a collaboration between science, government, and industry, and they're really looking forward to accelerate their self-driving technologies by partnering with their startup Autobahn. And I would say, let's listen to the personal video messages that they sent us in today. And I would say, let's roll the clip.
Hello everybody, my name is Mehdi Ferrand from Plastic Omnium. I am in charge of innovation, engineering and partnership. Plastic Omnium is a leading Tier 1 supplier of the automotive industry. We are specializing in intelligent exterior systems for connected and autonomous vehicles, and also clean energy systems to prepare the energy transition. Open innovation is very important for us. It's a booster of ideas. It's a way to challenge the statu quo, to confront the different opinions and to integrate new technologies in our own product. This is why we are very excited to join Startup Autobahn. It's an opportunity for us to network with people from different horizons, startup, medium-sized company and large automotive car maker. It will be for us a good way to test new technologies, new business model, and to make the proof of concept of new technologies that could ideally end on the car of tomorrow. This new season of Startup Autobahn is very exciting. We are very motivated to meet with all of you. And startup, entrepreneur, motivated people, please come and meet with Plastic Omnium.
Hi there, my name is Mark Cracknell. I'm the Head of Technology at Zenzik. Zenzik is an organisation based in the UK that works with government, industry and academia to accelerate the self-driving revolution. We focus on testing infrastructure and bringing together CAM Testbed UK, as well as bringing together the UK Connected and Automated Mobility Roadmap to 2030. Plug and Play's work with Startup Autobahn is a great thing for Zenzik. Their ability to connect us with a wide range of startups, their assistance in launching of the Zenzik Scale-Up program, which is coming soon here in the UK, as well as supporting us hosting a session during Startup Autobahn on how our roadmap supports SMEs and brings them together with corporates to develop their plans and to progress the safe and secure deployment of connected and automated mobility on the roads here in the UK. To find out more about us, please visit zenzik.io and we look forward to seeing some of you at our session this week.
Welcome as well from my side to the family, to our 4 new partners. My name is Hannah. I'm doing our program management at the open innovation platform startup Autobahn. And I'm really honored that I can actually announce our new partnership category. So we're working right now with our founding partners, our anchor partners, and our eco partners together. And starting with our next program, we actually will open the strategic partnership. What this means, so we're partnering with universities, different kind of institutions to drive the mission together that innovation should be open for everyone. And I'm not only announcing that we will have this category, I'm really excited, especially personally, because I went to this university, some of my colleagues and the whole studio we are in right now are from them. So announcing HTM as our first soon partner, nothing is signed yet, but we will do it soon. So HTM, University of Media, or Hochschule der Medien, however you would call it. And I'm not alone staying here. I would like to ask Alexander, the rector from university, and Niels, the VP of Innovation, to join me here. Have a seat here. And for you, Niels, here. Thank you again for having us here. It's an amazing studio. The whole technical is amazing. Of course, University of Media, you think on media, but we are here at Campus Vaihingen. And we have University of Stuttgart, of course, who was partnering or founding partner of Startup Autobahn from the beginning. And I think you all have together a vision to drive innovation in Baden-Württemberg and Stuttgart. And maybe questions going to you, Alexander. So what are the plans here and why University of Media innovation fit together?
Yeah, first of all, what's a university? A university at least should be a kind of innovation agency. And how to drive innovations. We can do it by our graduates, we can do it by research and transfer, and by startups. So this is one of our core businesses we have as a university. What's the basic idea? A media university. The media businesses, they were one of the first which have to deal with digitalization. So we have a long experience with digital transformation, digital businesses, and this is why we are now in the heart of these transformation processes. For the automotive industry, for machinery business, what else? So if you look to our research projects, we often have now projects with automotive, with machinery. 10 years ago, they asked us, can you do an image video for us? And now they ask us for car infotainment systems, for car-to-car communications. In a machinery supplier asked, hey, our machines produce a large amount of data, and how to deal with this data, how to create business with this data. So this is our job now. And therefore, our entrepreneurship activities, they are helping to do this transformation process here in the region, here in Baden-Württemberg as a state, and therefore they have real strategic importance. What do we need? We need a startup center. We need a kind of entrepreneurship spirit. We need creativity. And I think we have this as a media university. We are the colored dot or spot here on the campus. And we need partners. And this is great to have University of Stuttgart, Startup Autobahn, to have all these wonderful research activities here on the campus. So a perfect surrounding for us.
Perfect. And welcome to the platform. Thank you. Speaking, this is the vision and the mission. And I saw HTM got on the top ranking of entrepreneurship in Germany as a university. What are real actions you're doing here to support students as well, startups?
Well, put that way, 20 years ago, we really started to help students with their actual startup. So they were ready, they wanted to do it, and then we gave them support. I think now, 5 years ago, we had the vision that we have to start much, much earlier. So we approach politics, business leaders here in the state, and we create this great program where every student in the first year will go through a startup/entrepreneurship/innovation workshop, even the librarians. And they breathe entrepreneurship, they enjoy it, and hopefully they will understand, hey, one day I might just do this. I don't know why, I don't know when, but one day I might be ready. And then they get all the support. We have great lectures, we have great classes, we are hosting activities like the Startup Weekend here, we are hosting conferences here. So it's really from the first day of the studies until they graduate, they know entrepreneurship is there. And it's not just to start a business, but it's really the ability to innovate. I think that's the core point, what we want to bring over.
Then we have to say thank you actually, because you make it that startups are growing in Baden-Württemberg, who are hopefully soon can start at Startup Autobahn working with all our corporate partners. We say this, thank you again that we can be here, and we are really looking forward to all the collaboration who are upcoming. And
well, we're excited to be part of the platform, and hopefully this won't be the last time we are hosting an event with Startup Autobahn.
Okay, everybody hear this? We will come back to the studio. Thank you so much. And yeah, I think now we only have one more point on the agenda. So I would say we will go over there.
Thank you. Perfect.
And thank you. So only one more part. The question is, which camera I have to look in? This one? Okay, so we have only one more topic today. Like there's one last inspiration keynote. I will actually hand over to Dan to do it, but I will give a real quick introduction. So actually on our first did his keynote, and now it's our first virtual expo, and he is coming back. And for this, Media University, he's an ambassador for Canva. He's known for finding new cool ideas and promoting it. I would say, Dan, I hand over to you to do the interview, and we will see each other all tomorrow, hopefully. Take care.
All right. I know we're excited for this interview. For me, I have been waiting for this for a long time because I've got his Wikipedia page open over here. I mean, he's done everything. American marketing specialist, author of 15 books, Silicon Valley venture capitalist, chief evangelist at Canva, creator of Remarkable People podcast, and he's asked me to refer to him as His Royal Highness. It's Guy Kawasaki. Guy, how are you?
That's a good introduction.
It's good to have you here. Thank you for joining us again at Startup Autobahn. And you look really comfortable right now. So if it's okay, I want to put you on the hot seat. Is that okay?
Whatever.
Whatever.
Sure.
Okay. That's such a California attitude. Whatever, dude. You just have fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a little game. It's a rapid fire round. We're going to see how many questions you can answer. So one-word answers in the next 90 seconds. Are you ready?
All right.
All right.
Yeah, fire away.
Time begins right now. What color is your toothbrush?
White.
What's the favorite tech device you own?
iPhone.
Are you a morning or a night person?
Both.
Favorite app that you use?
Favorite app, probably Mail.
Okay. What is one thing you'd put on your bucket list?
Surfing a 10-foot wave.
Last Netflix show you watched?
I am watching right now Spy.
All right. Favorite podcast you listen to?
How I Did This. How I Built This. How I Built This.
Okay. If you were a superhero, what would your superhero power be?
Surfing.
Surfing. You've written a lot of books. What do you think is your best book yet?
That's like asking a person which is his
your favorite child. Yeah.
Probably The Art of the Start 2.0.
Okay. Describe yourself in 3 words. That's our final question.
Empower people.
I love that. I love that. Well, Guy, I know there's so many topics that we could cover. What you're probably best known for is being a tech evangelist. For some people on different sides of the ocean, that word evangelism might not be something they associate with the tech world. So I just want to, I want your thoughts on it, because for you, I think being a tech evangelist is so much more than just a title or something you put on a business card. It's a way of life. It's a way of thinking. Could you comment a little bit about that, please?
Yeah. Well, first of all, just to set the record straight, evangelism is different from evangelical. Okay.
True.
Completely different. So evangelism comes from a word meaning bringing the good news. So what an evangelist does is bring the good news.
Yes.
It could be for eternal life. It could be for productivity and creativity, i.e. Macintosh. It could be for design, i.e. Canva. So what an evangelist does, and your entrepreneurs should learn this, is that their product or service is good news. And instead of simply selling it, which is, I give you something, you give me money, evangelism means you bring them the good news and they believe in it as much as you do.
Now, I know for some of the salesy / marketing people, they're going, you're so right, guy, and that's what my job is. And I know there are some maybe more introverted CEOs that are going, I'll just give that to the intern to do the social media thing about evangelism. In your opinion, who should be the evangelist? The founder, the salesperson, everybody in the company?
Sure. Well, first of all, I mean, the attitude that you would give the intern to social media is so stupid because social media today equals marketing.
Yeah.
So imagine it was before social media. Would you say, oh, we have an intern, let's give him or her all of marketing? Because that's what you're saying today. So that is a retarded answer. So how should I answer this? Pitch it to me again.
So,
we're gonna have a good, powerful comeback.
Boom. All right, so here we go. Just to set the record straight, I love social media. So I'm not saying that's what I'm thinking, but the question is, who should be the evangelist in a company?
Yeah. Okay, so let's roar into that. So everybody should be the evangelist.
Okay.
Now, there can be people who focus on that function. I was a software evangelist for the Macintosh division. My job was to make people write software. But from the shipping clerk to the receptionist to the CEO to the HR department, engineering, everybody should be evangelistic in the sense that they believe that their product is making the world a better place, and it is good news.
Yeah.
See, that's a better answer. We got to roar into these answers.
So
Are you editing this at all, or this is?
No, this is live. This is real. We're keeping it real.
Oh.
So
now you tell me.
So tell me, Guy, I mean, for you working at Macintosh now, working at Canva, these are products you feel very passionate about. How do you transfer that passion and that purpose to someone who is maybe a product engineer or someone who's in charge of the supply chain? How do you get them to be an evangelist?
Well, in a sense, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in a sense, or it is kind of a litmus test also. I think that when you come upon something that is great, you either get it or you don't.
True.
And that takes about 5 minutes. And so after 5 minutes, if the person doesn't see this as good news, probably the person never will see this as good news. So I don't know if it's a matter of, battering people and bashing them over the head until they get it. They should get it immediately. Now, having said that, let me give you a little contrary theory.
Okay.
The contrary theory is that sometimes, you go into something, you're neither here nor there, you're not that emotionally involved, but as it achieves success, you become more and more of a believer.
Yeah.
So, to take an extreme example, let's say that you're a programmer, right? And out of college, you go to work for a company that sells pet supplies online, but you don't have a dog, you don't have a cat, you don't care. You needed a job as a programmer. So you got this job, and all of a sudden you're selling, or the company's selling just tons and tons of pet supplies and dog food and cat food and collars and, flea things and all that. So all of a sudden, your little stock option plan is worth $5 million. Trust me, you will love pets at that point.
That's a really good point. So I want to quote you for the next question. All right. So this is what you said. You said Macintosh democratized computers, Google democratized information, and eBay democratized commerce. In the same way, Canva is democratizing design. You don't get too many chances to democratize an industry. So here at Startup Autobahn, we're talking about the future of mobility. In your opinion, which company has the opportunity or the potential to democratize the mobility space?
Well, I mean, the obvious answer is Google with Android and Apple with iOS. But having said that, you know, I hope it's two guys in a garage, two gals in a garage, or a guy and a gal in a garage who democratizes mobility. I think one of the crucial factors and where it'll play out pretty rapidly is 5G, because 5G is a game-changing technology. And so, you know, we don't know what the killer app of 5G will be yet. And that might come from two guys or two gals or a gal and a guy in a garage.
True. I'm just curious because I read a quote of yours, and I'm just curious, Guy. Do you know how often you were quoted? Because I actually just looked up like Guy Kawasaki quotes, and there's like pages of it. So let's play a quick game. I want to read a quote.
Yeah.
You tell me if it's something you said or something you think you said or not. Okay? So here's the first one.
Or something I should have said.
Or something you should have said, and you can take it because you're more famous than all of us. Here we go. So, evangelism is selling a dream. Is that a Guy quote or not a Guy quote?
Yes, Guy quote.
That is true. How about this one? Innovation is to add value faster, better, and cheaper than ever before.
Probably not.
That is not. That actually is Saeed, who is the founder of this whole thing. Here's one.
Okay, you see, I passed the test.
Well done. If you don't toot your own horn, don't complain that there's no music.
I said that.
That is you. If achieving success was easy, more people would do it.
I said that.
That's true. Start now, start simple.
I did not say that.
That's true. That's my quote. So there we go. I'd be really upset if you said that you just said that. Here we go. Remember that nobodies are the new somebodies.
I said that.
Correct. To make innovation open to anyone, anywhere.
I don't think I said that.
No, that is
I
actually...
believe in it, but I don't think I said that.
You do believe in it. That's good, because that's the motto of Startup Autobahn over here. Here's another one. Last one. Simple and to the point is always the best way to get your point across.
I said that.
You're good. I'm glad you recognize what you say. You know your sentences.
Do you give this test to all the speakers?
Not everyone has as many quotes as you do, to be fair. But yes, I should start doing that. All right. So.
Well, then you can see who's full of shit.
Exactly. I like what our little battle earlier about social media. So let's talk about this, right? Because I firmly believe social media is disrupting everything.
Wait.
Yes.
What battle? We didn't have a battle.
I know we didn't have a battle.
My
roaring into the answer.
My statement was, don't give the intern social media. That's
exactly
stupid. Just because Trixie or Biff knows how to use TikTok, that doesn't mean they should be chief marketing officer.
That is true. So let's talk about social media, because I know there's a lot that you do on social media, and I'm also curious about like the world of podcasts that you're in. I know for a lot of companies, some of them are looking at it and going like, how do we even put our hands in, and like there's just so much going on, and then TikTok being banned or being bought by Oracle. What are your thoughts? Like what is the approach for big companies? So like big German corporations here, who should be doing social media? What is the social media they should engage in? Like how do you get involved in this big space?
Well, I mean, it is 2020. If a big company is asking us this today, that's a little pathetic. But I would say that social media and marketing are pretty much one and the same. So it used to be that social media used to be this little experiment that you did give to the intern. And Trixie or Biff, because they have a Facebook account, you think, oh, they know how to use social media. But social media is mainstream marketing at this point. It belongs, at the CMO level. What's the problem? And, listen, there's a lot of downside to social media about privacy and invasion and obsessions and all this kind of stuff. But push comes to shove. I mean, take Facebook as an example. I mean, how else can you target a population so directly without Facebook? I mean, you tell me. It's not running advertising in newspapers. It's not running advertising on a website. It's it's Facebook, and if you're Mercedes or Porsche or Audi, I mean, you have to put the beauty of your cars in Instagram. I mean, that's just a given. I don't see how you could do without that.
Yeah, absolutely. Guy, you're involved with Canva, and I'm sure there have been a lot of companies that have pitched to you and said, Guy, be our evangelist. I'm sure there are many you've said no to, and I'm sure there are many you've said yes to.
Most.
Most. So what is the Guy criteria for getting involved or not getting involved?
Usually the Guy criteria is that I either use or would use the product myself.
Okay.
And so if people pitch me about, this is, a way to increase some cybersecurity algorithm, that is like so way beyond my expertise. Now, I may end up using it and not even knowing it, but it's not kind of a consumer facing, Guy has credibility. So with Canva, Guy has credibility, right? Guy uses social media. Guy is always trying to communicate, giving a lot of speeches. So I use Canva, and it makes sense for me to endorse and now be chief evangelist of Canva. But I mean, something, some compiler or something, or some, software optimization tool, I have no idea. So I don't get involved with those things.
Okay.
Basically.
All right. Final question. You are heavy in the tech space. You're a legend in Silicon Valley. You've been in the game for a long time. Would love to know, this is a mobility event. What are your thoughts when you think about the future of mobility in any area? It can be just you using it or some of the new stuff you see coming out. What are some of your thoughts that you'd like to share with us?
Well, to repeat what I said once before, I think 5G is a humongous deal. So, right now I'm sitting in here and I have a wired 1 gigabit connection up and down. And the thought that that could be true anywhere is just mind expanding for telemedicine, for cars to be talking to each other, for cars to be talking to the street sign, the intersection lights. That is such a game changer. So I can't wait for that to happen. And I know that 5G doesn't cause coronavirus. So
glad you cleared that up. Excellent. Well, Guy, it's amazing to have you here at Startup Autobahn. You're our closing keynote for day one, and there's so much that you've shared there that hopefully will inspire some of the decision makers when it comes to either social media, digital marketing, evangelism, spreading the good news, and so much more. So any last words? Any empowering statements you want to share?
So I always like to tell entrepreneurs that they need to remember that the purpose of their company is to create customers. It's not to raise money. It's not to write business plans. It's not to use Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, anything like that. It is to create customers. And the way you create customers is you ship. So 90% of your attention should be on finishing your prototype and getting it out there. Because if your prototype is good enough, you don't need to write a business plan or make a pitch or anything like that. So focus on the prototype.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Your Royal Highness, Guy Kawasaki, it's been amazing to have you joining us all the way from California. We hope we'll see you again, and have a great rest of your day.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. So that was Guy Kawasaki, and with that, we're wrapped up with day one. And so I'd like to encourage you to take a look at the agenda, because day two, we've got more. We're going bigger. We're going better. Some serious tech deep dives, and I'm telling you now, you want to check what the agenda has in store so you can decide at what point you get involved. But from my end, Dan Ram and the team here at Startup Autobahn, thank you for joining us on this little virtual adventure that we've been on in our new studio, our new home. And that is it. So take care and see you tomorrow bright and early. Goodbye.